Welcome back, folks. I started my little rocket stove here, and you folks were right. The dead artichoke stalks makes an awful good fire starter. It does. Thank you very much for that. I had wondered that, never tried it. So the branches in there that I've got are a little damp. So we get a little bit of smoke. No big deal. But somebody suggested that I break open a duck egg. So let's see if the frying pan is hot yet. Not quite. Need a little more fire in there. And again, all this takes is branches, right? Twigs. That's all it takes. And I've got some damp. See, I haven't had time, folks, to go around and collect some branches and bring them in or get them under cover. So I've got some wet branches, but she'll burn. Might get a little smoke, but she'll burn. All I'm after is a hot frying pan, right? Or at least a warm frying pan. Now, these damp twigs would be awful good where the mosquitoes and black flies come out, right? Yeah, they will. All right. We got some flame in there now. She's caught on. So I've already got my butter in there, my home canned butter, right? And there's my duck egg. It's a big duck egg. Biggest one I've ever gotten here. So let's break it open and fry it up right on the rocket stove. And look at that. It's a double yolker. My first double yolker for a duck. My first double yolker duck egg. Imagine that. Now I don't know if you can see that. Let me pause it and I'll show you what it looks like in the frying pan. Get out of the smoke. There's a double yolker duck egg. Look at that. My first one ever. So I'm going to pause you again, put you on the tripod. Alright, that frying pan wasn't hot enough, right? And all of these little ashes, that just makes it taste better. Now I like my egg yolks popped. So I always pop mine. And I've got to get this stove up. Gotta get her going. We don't want it too hot though. So we want to burn that dampness off the wood, right? So it's not smoldering or smoking. Yeah, I just jump started it. Boy, these Bernzomatic torches are awful nice, folks. I've had the same 1 pound canister for, wow, probably 5 years. And that's all I use it for, is to start fires because it's easier, right? Faster. But I can tell you, back when I got this 4-pack, I was complaining about the price. And it was $3.99 each. Folks, now they're almost $9. Imagine that. Almost $9 for 1 pound canister of propane. I don't get it. A little pepper. A little salt. It's about the only thing I use salt on is meat and my eggs, folks. And where that hasn't started cooking much, I'm just going to crack the other egg. It would help if that frying pan was centered too. And duck eggs, their shells are a lot harder than a chicken's egg. Not as tough as a guinea egg. Guinea eggs are really tough, really hard. But goose eggs and duck eggs, their yolks are a lot bigger compared to the whites of an egg. So, while that is cooking slowly, I always get antsy, folks. I always put the frying pan on. And when it's not hot enough. Even on the wood stove I do that, but I need to center that frying pan. That'll help. So, today, folks, got a nice flame going. Eggs are cooking. So today, folks, pardon my reach, I spoke to a man who had a very large cup of Dunkin' Donuts coffee in his hand. I mean, I think it was the biggest they make. It was like, it looked like a quart. I don't know. It was at least an extra large. And he was complaining about the price of the coffee. He wasn't complaining about the price of food, because he told me that, because he stopped at a local truck stop and got one of those fast meal baskets, and he said that it was worth the price if he didn't have to cook. So in the morning he stops at this local truck stop and gets his breakfast. At lunch he stops and gets his lunch. And on the way home he stops and gets his supper. He said that he does not have any groceries in his house. He does not cook at home. He lives alone. He does not cook at home. Now, just for shits and giggles, I told him everything that I could buy for food and make it at home for what he paid for 1 day's worth of food. And I added it up, and folks, for what he paid for 1 day's worth of food at a truck stop, grab and go, right? I could eat almost a week, folks. I'm not kidding. He said he will never cook at home. He knows how to cook. He admitted that he has a $1 million, what do you call that? $1 million food palette on a poor wage. So, he doesn't stock up. He's not even concerned about that, he said, because food will always be there. I did not go there with him. I wanted to awfully bad, to kind of gently tell him the error of his ways, but I didn't, because he's a grown man. He's an adult. He can see what's going on. He knows what he spends. He doesn't make coffee at home either, and he drinks 3 of those extra large Dunkin' Donut coffees every day with extra espresso cream, extra cream, he said, and sugar. So that cup of coffee that he didn't want to bother making himself cost him a lot of money. He could buy probably a big number 10 can of percolated coffee. You know, the grounds, right? and he could buy a coffee pot for probably 1 or 2 days worth of coffee that he's buying. But food will always be there. It'll always be convenient. Coffee will always be there. It'll always be convenient. And I just let it go. I was kind of proud of myself, actually. I was kind of proud of myself that I let it go. Because, like I said, he's an adult. He knows what he makes for money. And I know his job. And I know what that job pays. And folks, he would be considered poor even if he grew his own food. But he's not about to do that. He said he'll never have a garden. He'll never put in the work. He'll never put in the effort. He does not like many vegetables. And again, I did an Edith Bunker, and I ticked my lock. I shut my mouth and went on what I was doing. Someday his ways will come around and probably bite him right in the ass. So, but he knows exactly what's going on in the world, because he told me that he couldn't stand Trump, first of all. He just couldn't stand Trump because of his mouth and his arrogant ways. He couldn't stand Trump. He didn't like Biden either. But he's the type that would, you get him in office and he could do a whole lot better job. So he's one of those. Because, like he said, it can't take many brains to run a country if Biden is in it. His words, not mine. So while I'm talking and I'm cooking food, I also have a tendency to overturn it. So I apologize. But there's 2 duck eggs and 3 yolks, folks. 2 duck eggs and 3 yolks. There's my supper, right there. Now, I eat a lot of protein, folks. I also eat a lot of vegetables. I do, so it balances out. And in the summer, I'll eat an enormous amount of vegetables. But I'll also eat my eggs. And if I do in a bird, I will eat a bird, right? Is that recording? Yeah, it is. So, there it is. There's the double yolker. You were with me when I got my first double yolked duck egg. Kind of exciting, actually. So those are done for me. As long as they're not runny in the middle, I'm good. As long as they're not runny. And they aren't. So, there we have it in my fancy-dancy paper plate, huh? I don't like doing dishes any more than anyone else out there does. Just not a fan of doing dishes. But I do them, and I don't complain if I do them. I just rather not do that for a living, and I don't. But if I can get away without doing dishes, I will certainly do that. So, there it is, folks. There it is. I'm going to take that frying pan. It's hot. Take that frying pan off the heat and let that fire go out while I eat my eggs. So thanks for joining me at the rocket stove. And thank you for being there with me when I got my first double yolked duck egg. Alright, so we've cooked boneless pork chops. We've cooked an egg. There'll be more meals on this little rocket stove because it's just getting way too warm. I only put 2 sticks in my wood stove this morning when I left, and I come home and it was like 95 in there. So it's just getting way too hot. So things will change because that's how I keep my hot water is on the wood stove, right? So it won't be long before I'll be heating my water up outside here, which means that I'll be using this rocket stove a couple to 3 or 4 times a day. So I hope you come back, and I hope you join me, and we'll cook on the rocket stove throughout the summer, and maybe we'll both learn something, you and I. So if you like this video, you can like, share, and subscribe. If you are new to this channel, thank you very much for joining this family. If you've been here for a while, thank you very much for sticking around. There's a lot more to come, folks. I'm out in a t-shirt right now, and the grass hasn't started getting green. The bog hasn't been going down very much, but it will come a time when foraging season will be in full tilt, and I do a lot of foraging, folks, so I'm going to bring you along with me. I'll bring you along with me in my garden. I'm kind of hoping it's supposed to be 57 one day this weekend. I'm kind of hoping I can get those 5 ducks and 2 roosters into jars. And I do my canning outside, folks, so if I end up doing that this weekend, I'll bring you along with me. Thank you so much. Come again.